It didn't make sense because, like, how can God, the Almighty, the All-Powerful, the Creator of heavens and earth, how could he be in a womb of a woman? So my parents organized for me to go and speak to the local vicar. I went to visit him and I said to him, listen, I don't want to become a Muslim. Just answer these questions. How can Jesus be God? And he said to me, I don't know. And at the end of the chat that we had with the vicar said, listen, I believe that Muhammad is a prophet.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, sahabat semuanya. Obed Box merupakan seorang blogger muda asal Inggris yang membuat video YouTube tentang keseharian, perjalanan, dan pengalamannya. Sebagai seorang Muslim, Obed juga membuat video tentang agamanya, seperti saat dia mengunjungi masjid atau mengunjungi negara-negara Muslim, termasuk Indonesia salah satunya.
Zoe Hatta. I definitely butchered that. I don't know how to pronounce it. So Isa, your first time in Indonesian air, you look tired.
I'm very tired.
Here we are, we have arrived in Bali. Finally, after lots of travel, we are here.
Dan juga perayaan Ramadan dan Idul Fitri bersama keluarganya. Orang-orang banyak bertanya di usianya yang masih sangat muda, kapan sebetulnya Obed masuk Islam? Obed sendiri mengklarifikasi bahwa dia lahir dari keluarga Muslim yang sebelumnya masuk Islam.
So to answer the question, I was actually born Muslim. It's my parents that converted or reverted to Islam before I was born. 20-something years ago, it sounds like a long time to me.
Dan ada kisah menarik di balik bagaimana keluarga Obed menjadi Muslim. Semua berawal dari sang ayah yang awalnya tidak ada niatan atau keinginan sama sekali untuk masuk Islam. Bahkan mencoba mencari kesalahan Islam, malah dibuat yakin bahwa Islam adalah kebenaran oleh jawaban pendetanya sendiri. Dan dia juga menemukan kesamaan antara yang dilakukan oleh Yesus dan seorang Muslim dalam menyembah kepada Tuhannya di dalam kitab Bible.
The fundamental thing was, how could Jesus be God? Obviously, it just didn't make sense to me. Like, how can God, the Almighty, the All-Powerful, the Creator of heavens and earth, how could he be in a womb of a woman? You know, and then he have to eat, and he went to school with the other kids, and you know, he learned about Judaism. How can that be God? That just didn't make sense to me. And then even if you look at the actual sayings of Jesus in the Bible, he used to bow down and he used to prostrate to God, etc. Whereas there's another narrative in the Bible, which is the narrative of Paul. And basically, I kind of came to this conclusion that Christianity wasn't the religion of Jesus. Christianity was a Roman religion. It was like made up by Paul, who didn't even meet Jesus. And even if you look at the Bible, you'll find that he actually fell out with some of the disciples of Jesus. Like, seems that he fell out with James. The religion I was upon was a Roman religion.
So it wasn't pure Christianity. It was sort of something made by the Romans and Paul and all these people afterwards, and sort of added on top of Christianity and sort of diluting what was the truth of the original scriptures and teachings of Christianity. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, exactly. And when I looked at God in Islam, it just made total sense. And I just thought, this is the religion of Jesus, because Jesus worshipped God alone. It's that simple. It's not that was totally lost in the Bible if you looked at it. For example, Jesus would tell people to follow the commandments. And the first commandment is, don't worship anyone other than God. In the book of Exodus it says, you shall have no other gods beside me. You shall have no other gods beside me. How can I then say Jesus is God? Like, that goes blatantly against the first commandment. And then it says in the second commandment that you should make no graven images of God. If Christians say that Jesus is God, and they've got these graven images of them all over on a cross, etc., it just seemed to me, like I said, that if I want to follow Jesus, and I love Jesus, you know, the whole point of Christianity is about the love of Jesus. If I actually want to follow him, I can't follow this Roman religion anymore. I started seeing about the Quran. When I looked at the Quran, when I reflected upon it, and I looked at my own life, I looked at what was going on, you could just see that Islam just had this message which was complete. How to live with your family, how to treat your parents, the fact that you should pray and fast, and of course that is coupled with the sayings of Prophet Muhammad.
Okay, so back to the main story. I understand it all made sense to you, But what happened? What happened next?
Every time I met a Muslim, I would debate with them, trying to search for the truth, but also trying to find kind of like mistakes in Islam and trying to find holes in Islam. It was during that period then as well then. So my parents organized for me to go and speak to the local vicar. A vicar in Protestantism is kind of like a priest, but he gets married. I went to visit him and I said to him, listen, I don't want to become a Muslim. Just answer these questions for me. How can Jesus be God? And he said to me, I don't know. And at the end of the chat that we had with the vicar said, listen, I believe that Muhammad is a prophet, but I stay Christian because of the love of Jesus. And even though that's kind of like what I was thinking myself, hearing this knowledgeable man saying it, it made me think, this is just ignorant. How can you believe something and not follow it? So that actually made me want to become a Muslim. But then it was Ramadan came, and it was actually in January, about 6 months later. And that first guy, Imran, Jonathan, took me to the mosque in Cardiff. I went into the mosque, it was Ramadan, and they were praying Taraweeh prayers. So I went in, they took me to the place to make wudu. I went in, and there was this, the smells of the mosque. They'd been burning oud, and I went in, and there's the place to make wudu and people washing their feet. Like, nobody told me I've got to wash my feet. It's the only time I'd heard of washing of feet had been in the Bible when Jesus had washed people's feet. So I washed and I went in, and then they were praying Taraweeh. And this is the crazy thing, right? I prayed Taraweeh with them. I hadn't even taken my Shahada yet. So I'm standing there praying, and obviously Taraweeh is a long salah. So I was kind of like, looking out the corner of my eye. I see them going into ruku, I'd go into ruku, I'd see them coming out to go into sujood and stuff. It was just kind of like this amazing experience, like even culturally. So they stopped praying Taraweeh, and Imran, he went to them and said, I've got this guy, Miyani, who wants to become a Muslim. So they took me, there was about 3 or 4 of them, a Libyan brother, a Palestinian brother, a Saudi brother. They took me into the bookshop, we sat down, and he said, so do you believe in Allah and the angels and the messengers and the books? And I said, yeah, I believe in all of those things. And he said, okay, so just say after me. He said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. So he did it in Arabic and then did it in English. And he said, that's it, you're a Muslim. Oh, everyone was so excited. They got up, they started hugging me. They all came to me. It was like one by one. Everyone came, they hugged me and congratulations. Somebody gave me like a perfume. Somebody gave me a book. People were inviting me to their houses. I was so touched. I felt that brotherhood.
But what was like people's reaction to you becoming Muslim? Like your parents, your other friends who weren't Muslim as well, and you're now practicing, like what was their reaction?
My brother, 6 months later, alhamdulillah, he took his Shahada. My sister went to Palestine, and when she was there, she met Muslims, she met Jews, she met Christians, and when she came back, just purely by herself, the Muslims had such a big effect on her that she was like, I want to find out about Islam. And then, alhamdulillah, it wasn't long till she became Muslim. So me, my brother, and my sister became Muslim. Alhamdulillah, your mother.
But yeah, my mum became Muslim as well.